We begin tonight at 5 with a hearing in the felony battery case against Fox Sports analyst Mark Sanchez. The former pro football player is accused of attacking a man earlier this month while in Indianapolis to call a Colts game.
And he's been off the air ever since then. Ashton Hackman in the courtroom for that hearing today. And Ashton, what was discussed there?
Mark Sanchez was not inside the Marion County courtroom on Wednesday, but his attorneys were there in his place. This hearing taking place between the judge and attorneys on both sides lasted only a few minutes.
Criminal Court 21 is now in session.
Tonight, a trial date set for December in the criminal case against Fox Sports analyst and former NFL player Mark Sanchez. The 38-year-old is facing felony battery, public intoxication, and other misdemeanor charges. Police say Sanchez was stabbed on October 4th after allegedly attacking a 69-year-old truck driver in a downtown Indianapolis alley. These graphic photos provided by the family of the victim, Perry Toll, show the extent of his injuries. Surveillance footage obtained by the New York Post shows Sanchez stumbling up the street after the attack. Attorneys say both men are still recovering and it may impact the case schedule.
Thank you for allowing our client to be excused from today's hearing. He's still recovering from the injuries he sustained in the medical intervention, so that process is ongoing and it may impact some of the dates, but right now we'll note those dates for our calendars.
Sanchez remains free on bond and allowed to return home to California. Prosecutors are doubtful the case will be ready for trial by December.
The case is progressing normally. We're looking forward to the discovery process. We're continuing to work with our partners in law enforcement, developing facts and information, but I doubt December is a realistic trial date.
Sanchez spent 10 seasons in the NFL before retiring in 2019. He and his employer, Fox Sports, are also in a civil lawsuit by Toll, alleging the company failed to ensure Sanchez had professional conduct while in town for work. Neither Fox Sports nor Toll's civil attorneys returned our requests for comment.
For now, that trial date is set for December 11th. At the Community Justice Campus, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
Thanks, Ashton. And the judge also set hearing dates for November 20th and December 2nd. Right now, it's likely for those appointments to be attorneys only.
Developing tonight, an appeals court has granted Richard Allen's attorneys more time to put together their case for an appeal of Allen's conviction. His attorneys say they have only talked to Allen once since his transfer to an Oklahoma prison. They told the court they may need to travel to Oklahoma to meet with him, but scheduling any visit has been slow. Today, a judge gave them 55 days to file the appellant brief. That makes it due a little over a week before Christmas. Next month will mark a year since a jury convicted him of murdering Abby Williams and Libby German back in February of 2017. He's now serving 130 years in prison for their deaths. Now, we have followed this case extensively since the beginning, past 8.5 years. You can see all our coverage at WTHR.com/Delphi.
We're getting close. That's the word from Governor Mike Braun about calling a special session to redistrict.
His comments come hours after a spokesperson for Indiana Senate Republicans gave a different assessment of where Republican senators stand. 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker is here to break it all down. Emily.
Molly Swigert, a spokesperson for Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray, said in an email today the votes aren't there for redistricting. Now, Governor Braun was asked about that just a few hours later, and he said he didn't think a case had been made yet, but he thought it would be. Today's comments from the governor and where Senate Republicans stand are the latest developments in the ongoing wait to see if or when Governor Mike Braun could call a special session to redraw the state's congressional districts. But if he does, it looks like Senate Republicans are not on board. Today's developments come just days after President Trump held a phone call with Senate Republicans to talk about redistricting. A spokesperson for Senator Bray said he was part of that call. According to reporting from Politico, Senator Bray, along with his leadership team, are the majority of no votes on redistricting right now. Politico is also reporting Governor Braun could call a special session to redraw Indiana's maps as early as next week. Here's what Governor Braun said when asked about a timeline on calling a special session.
To do it and get the mechanics done, we can't. You could push it and then have to scramble. I'm not going to do that. All I can tell you is we're getting close.
The governor's comments came just a day after a group of voting rights advocates emailed a petition with 20,000 signatures to the governor and Republican leaders. That petition, all signed by Hoosiers against redistricting. We asked Governor Braun if he would be taking that into consideration when he made a decision about calling a special session. We'll tell you what he had to say about that at 6 at the Indiana State House. Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Emily, thank you. And North Carolina is now the latest state to redraw its congressional maps. House lawmakers passed a new map today designed to give the GOP an extra seat in the U.S. House. It came a day after the state Senate approved it. North Carolina's Democratic governor cannot veto the map. It will now go into effect before the midterm elections.
Angela's doing a weather academy. We've got Rob here with the forecast, and we've got some blue skies in downtown Indianapolis right now.
Nice to see.
Chilly and windy, boy, and we had a gray all day, so it is nice to see the sun out, and that's warmed things up a bit. But we still have a frost advisory.
It depends on where you are. The clouds really make a huge impact on the forecast. They kept us colder during the day, but at night, once we remove the clouds, the temperatures are going to be able to drop. So it really depends on where you are.
Okay.
This is all Sean Ash weather. I'm a fan of the clearing skies, but now that Sean is gone, the clouds are moving out. He's taking the clouds with him as well. Take a look. Look at the temperatures. They're in the 40s, 50s, and even close to 60 degrees. Can you tell where the clouds were today? You didn't really need the satellite and radar to see that, but that's exactly where they are. It's why the temperatures stayed so much cooler and still are so much cooler. Now, unfortunately, the opposite's going to be true. Once the sun goes down, the areas that don't have the clouds, they'll be able to get much colder. Meanwhile, you'll actually stay a little bit warmer where the clouds are in play. But most of those clouds are trying to ease their way out of here, but they are easing their way out of here. It's going to take some time. Meanwhile, temperatures 56 for Indy, right on the border of where that cooler air with 40s to the north is, and 60s and 70s to the south and west because of all of the sunshine that was able to be picked up during the day today. Once we clear the skies, everyone should allow the temperatures to get down into the 40s where the skies have cleared out. So mostly clear skies. I'll put 37 here, but just know that many locations are going to be much colder than that, and a little patchy frost could be possible. We also have freeze watches to talk about, and also we're looking ahead to the weekend. Will we see some rain chances? I'm going to lay it all out for you, let you know what to expect. That's coming up.
Thanks, Rob.
A Knightstown man is on trial this week for a hit-and-run crash with a teen boy on a bicycle.
Rich and I had a camera in the courtroom today when the jury saw that damaged bike for the very first time.
This is the bike 13-year-old Jasper Young had bought at a garage sale earlier in the day when he was hit by a car around 10 p.m. on June 17, 2023, on State Road 109 in Wilkinson. Jasper suffered a traumatic brain injury and spent 6 months in a rehab facility in Chicago, learning to walk and talk again. 35-year-old Aaron McGee is charged with leaving the scene of an accident resulting in catastrophic injury. Police used traffic video to track down the gold Saturn responsible. They found the car in this garage in Anderson with serious damage and a busted windshield. The jury watched body cam video as police confronted McGee.
What's the damage on the windshield side? I don't know. The deer jumped out at me, man.
Where at? Do you remember where you were at?
In the country.
Okay.
When was that?
Narrow it down a little bit.
I mean, I don't know. It's out on some country road.
McGee initially denied driving the car recently, then claimed he hit a deer.
We see that the car has a very busted windshield, so we're putting two and two together. If you hit a deer, then you hit a deer. It's no big deal, okay? What we're asking is consent to get DNA off your car to prove that you didn't hit the little boy.
Where was the little boy hit?
109 in Wilkinson.
Police arrested McGee that day and got a search warrant for the car. A state police lab technician testified that hair and blood in the windshield glass matched Jasper's DNA. Both of Jasper's parents and the teen boy himself will testify before the trial is expected to wrap up by the end of the week. In Greenfield, Rich Nye, 13 News.
Jasper is now a 15-year-old high school sophomore. He has made a remarkable recovery. The defense is now arguing that he did not suffer, quote, catastrophic injuries by the legal definition under Indiana state law. Tonight, the Marion County coroner is identifying a man shot and killed on the near south side of Indy.
34-year-old Zachary Lillard died in the shooting near East Raymond and Shelby Streets. A woman who police say was also shot drove away to get help after the shooting. She directed officers to an alley north of East Tabor Street where they found Lillard's body. Neighbors say it all happened near a house known to be a problem spot when it comes to crime in the area. Metro Police have not identified any suspects in the case.